Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are playing Mew, the pure psychic type legendary Pokemon. Now, for base stats, we've got 100 across the board. HP, attack, defense, speed, and special. Critical rate of 19.53%. Not bad. This should be a really good run. Now, the only downside here is that our starting set isn't that great. We get Pound to start, and then we get Transform at level 10. That's really not that great, to be honest, but look at those TMs. We get pretty much essentially access to just about every TM in the game. So we get our standard water type moves, Water Gun, Bubble Beam, even Surf. We get access to Blizzard, Ice Beam, you know, all the standards, Thunder, Thunderbolt, Solar Beam. We even get access to Fly. Now that's pretty interesting. I'm like, okay, Mew has no wings, but maybe it can fly with its psychic powers, I guess. So yeah, Solar Beam, Mega Drain, Dragon Rage, which we won't be using, Earthquake, Dig, and Fissure, Psychic, of course, Reflect, Self-Destruct, that's interesting, won't be using that, even Egg Bomb, Fire Blast, Swift, Skull Bash, Soft, Boiled, Dream Eater, Sky Attack, which, oh, it's still interesting. Flying type moves. Like, how do you learn flying type moves? You don't even have wings. Rest, Thunder Wave, Psy Wave, Explosion, Rock Slide. Interesting. Rock Slide. Don't think that'll be much of any use. And Tri Attack. So, really, once we get access to Psychic, that's pretty much going to be all we really need. We do also get access to Swords Dance. I did miss that one. Swords Dance should help us keep our finish level fairly low. At least I think so. That'll definitely help. Once we get to the later stages of the game, I definitely think we can finish the game with Mew under level 60. There shouldn't be any reason that we shouldn't be able to. I think any Pokemon that gets access to Swords Dance should be able to beat the game under level 60. But first challenge of the game is getting past Brock, and we only have normal type moves. So let's see how this goes. Now, of course, we start with the Geodude. I decided to go Transform I thought this was the better play. After taking a look here at how Transform works, I only get a few uses of Tackle, and my stats exactly identified the Geodude. And if we're being honest, Mew has better stats, so this really wouldn't make much of a difference. Also puts us in a speed tie, and then once I run out of tackles, I have to go straight over to Struggle. So I was like, okay, this isn't the play. Let me restart. Let me just use Pound. My stats are already better than Geodude, so there's no reason to even use Transform here. It doesn't make sense. It would make more sense on the Onix. I get access to more moves than just Tackle, so we're going to pound our way through the Geodude, no problem. And isn't that crazy? Mew already with the reset here, but that is to my own poor play. I was not aware that Transform did what it did. I have no experience with it. I also, just to put it out there, I probably will not be playing Ditto. I don't imagine that will be a fun time, so I'm not going to do that. So don't be expecting to see a Ditto run coming from me. If you want to see that, definitely check out. There's tons of other channels that have done Ditto runs. You can check them out. I will not be doing that on this channel. So when we come into Onix, when it starts to use Bide, that's a great time to use Transform, because we can turn into Onix, and while we do take its poor attacking stats, we do get access to Screech, as well as Bind, Bide, and Tackle. We actually do get to use Bide in this fight. It's probably one of the only fights you will see me use Bide, unless I find some other niche scenario where it could come in handy. But yeah, this is what we're going to do here. We get 4 moves here, so we shouldn't run out of power points. We've got Bind and Tackle, as well as Bide if we could get some hits from Onix, but in the end we are going to end up taking down Brock, no problem whatsoever. So that's going to be the first gym. We're going to get a 25 out of 33 there. We did have to use ineffective moves. No real way around that. Mew just doesn't have a great starting set, but it does, like I said, it gets access to essentially every TM in the game, which is excellent. So now it's time to make our way over to Misty. Now, difference here is we will obviously get access to Body Slam, which could potentially make Misty an easy fight, although she does like to bolster her defenses with the uses of X Defense on top of Starmie's ability to use Harden. So Starmie is really the only Pokemon we ever worry about in the Misty fight, because it's obviously a lot stronger than Staryu, has better stats, also has the psychic typing, and you know, the stat boost that you get from it definitely helps you out there. So taking a look at the gameplay here, I've been deciding, I've been thinking about it. I was like, why don't I just give myself access to the bike? Why am I wasting time flying back to Cerulean to pick up the bike? I can just give myself the bike at the start, and that could kind of help me cut down on some time I spend on these runs. Also just want to get better at using the bike in this game so I can traverse the overworld faster. Okay, first up is Staryu, of course. We're going to switch Body Slam to the first position. We get a critical hit one shot on the first try. We get a critical hit on Starmie back to back, and we paralyze. It goes for the defensive boosting, but that's fine. We are going to easily take care of Misty, and that'll give us a second badge. We've got a score of 33 from Misty. Perfect there. I mean, not much. I mean, what would you really expect? Even if I couldn't beat Misty, I mean, I could do something like go get access to Dig, perhaps, which... honestly, if I had to do that, that means I'd probably have to go over level cap. Really, probably what the better option would be is to transform into, say, Starmie, and then set up bolstering my defenses to get the attack boosts, and then go from there. That would probably be another strategy. Probably wouldn't have to use Dig. I don't even know why I said that. I have other strategies that are available to Mew at that point in the game. So, got to come over. We got to take care of the rival and start pushing our way over to Bill. Gonna go and get that SS ticket. And I usually don't show this fight in my videos, and this is why I was like, okay, I don't usually show this. I'll show this fight. Nothing really to see here. It's just I never really show these parts of the runs. A lot of it is pretty cut up to just show the main battles that I grade these Pokemon on. So you're really not missing anything. Usually most Pokemon have no problems with this fight. They just kind of steamroll it. I mean, most Pokemon get access to Body Slam or some other strong move that they can use. So you really don't have to worry about it. Gonna kind of glaze over the Surge fight. There really isn't anything to see here. We're almost at the level cap, and we go Body Slam, he goes for X speed, and then Growl. We paralyze the Raichu and then take it out over 3 turns. Really easy Surge fight. Now that we've got Surge out of the way, we do get the access to the Thunderbolt TM, which we probably will not be utilizing in this run. Remember that Mew gets access to Swords Dance, so we do kind of want to have some physical moves on our set to just complement Psychic. That's essentially what we want here. We don't really need any of the other moves because we can set up with Swords Dance. It can be a great answer for any Pokemon who, you know, Psychic might not be that great on, or just the fact that, you know, we'll have a ability to boost our attack stats. So using physical attacks will just be better over Psychic. So really want to stay more towards the physical side just because Mew can learn Swords Dance. But now we get access to Psychic, which means we should be able to steamroll Erica. I don't think she's going to give us any problems, quite honestly. I mean, first up is Tangela. We're just going to go for the Psychic. We're not going to get the one shot, but this looks like maybe close to a 2-shot range. After the Mega Drain, not going to quite get it, but Tangela also cannot do too much damage to us. So Weepin' Bell and Gloom should be easy one-shot cleanups with Psychic to get a critical hit on the Weepin' Bell, even though we don't need it. That'll take care of Erica. We're going to jump right into Koga and his Venonat team, as well as his Venomoth. Not going to learn Metronome. Defeat Erica. Now Koga, this should really be easy. I mean, I've come into this fight under level 40 because, I mean, I have a type advantage here. I have nothing to worry about in this fight, so it's just a matter of just spamming Psychic. That's really all we need to do, and that is not going to take care of Venomoth, but as you can see, Leech Life still does pitiful damage. So right into Sabrina. We're just going to use physical attacks here because Sabrina's Pokemon have terrible defense, and that will get us through her pretty easily. We're going to one-shot the Aberrant Kadabra, 2-shot the Alakazam. Let's get right into Blaine. Like I said, nothing to see here. We now have Earthquake and Swords Dance on our set, so we can set up with Swords Dance. And we're only going to do that one time. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake on the Ninetales. That will be a one-shot. We outspeed all of his Pokemon. Earthquake on the Rapidash. Takes it out in one hit. And lastly, Earthquake on the Rhydon, or not the Rhydon, the Arcanine. That's also going to be a one-shot. Straight into Giovanni. Last but certainly not least, we're going to head into Giovanni. Now, the Doug Trio, you could go for the Swords Dance, but it can kind of mess you up with what is it, Sand Attack. We actually don't one-shot with the Psychic, but it goes for Fissure and misses. So we're going to set up on the Persian. This is the better place to set up. It can use Double Team, but it doesn't in this case. Now that we're fully set up, we're just going to go for the Earthquake. Psychic is also super effective, but we've boosted our attack higher than our special, so physical moves are going to obviously do more than that. So this will be an easy sweep of the latter half of the game, starting from Erica. And with that, we've got all 8 gym badges. So we have perfect scores out of every gym leader that we just showed there in that little gauntlet. So yeah, we've only lost points on Brock. And Mew, unfortunately, even though it is as legendary as it is, has a bad starting set and suffers from... I need to come up with some kind of a term for Pokemon who just cannot get past Brock without losing points. I need a term for those Pokemon. I wonder what to call it. Like, I don't know. Early game syndrome? I don't know. I don't know, because it really is only an issue in games where the rock type is the first gym leader. So like when we get to Generation 2, that wouldn't even be a problem. Like Pokemon wouldn't lose points, and by the time you got to a you know, Jasmine, you've gotten time to you know, get TMs that could be effective, you know. So I don't know, this is one of those games. It's gonna be like maybe Gen 1, Gen 3, Gen 4, where the first gym leaders are rock types. So as you can see, we make quick and easy work on the rival prior to the Elite Four, and that's really all we have for him. Just gonna show a little bit more because we skipped a lot of that in between gym leader time that I usually spend, you know, kind of conversating, not really conversating, but talking about what's going on and, you know, all this stuff. So this marks the 11th day of March Madness. We've got 20 more videos to post after this. That's kind of crazy to say. And it's kind of crazy that we're nearing the halfway point of the month already as well. It's going by pretty quick. I do hope those who are watching are enjoying this little series. This is definitely, this is more so to kind of challenge myself. Like, can I actually put out one video every day? So far, we're going strong. What I really need to do is use my weekend times where I have a lot more time available. I need to use those times to really pump out content, just record as much as I can. That way during the week when I have other stuff going on, you know, and don't have as much time throughout the day, I can use those times to like edit and polish the videos and get those prepared for, like, you know, doing voiceovers and everything like that, because I've got all my thumbnails created, so that's not the problem. Throughout the rest of Generation 1 and Generation 2, I've got all those thumbnails created, so I don't even have to worry about thumbnails anymore. Anyway, Elite Four. Okay, my favorite strategy with Dugong is to attack it first and try to bait it into using rest, and then I'll start setting up. Now, unfortunately, for whatever reason, Dugong does not want to go for rest here. It does get an attack drop, and that's fine. We're going to have more than enough attack to get through this, so we'll set up to +5. Would be +6 without the attack drop from Aurora Beam, but that's okay. Then we make quick work of Cloyster as well, and then we go Earthquake on the Slowbro. Physical attacks are what we want to go for the remainder of this battle. I don't know why I switched over to Body Slam for Jinx. I think Body Slam would KO everyone at this point. That's going to take care of Lorelei straight into Bruno. We have a massive type advantage here. For his Onyxes, we would just want to go for Earthquake. I do go ahead and set up a Swords Dance. Just, you know, Onyx is pretty bulky. I think we'd probably one-shot regardless. And Psychic for the fighting types. Super effective. Probably the physical attacks would work just the same here, but I don't know, sometimes it's more satisfying to just use moves that are super effective. Maybe that's just me. I think either one, Psychic or Earthquake, would take care of Bruno pretty easily here. So straight into Agatha, we've got Earthquake, and we also have Psychic, so she is hard countered. There's absolutely nothing in the world that Agatha could do here. I use Earthquake for her ghosts, since they're not very defensive. Psychic on the go back, because Earthquake does not affect it, as it being a flying type. And it's essentially just a super easy sweep. We don't need Swords Dance, we just click the moves and Agatha gets deleted. Just a few button presses. Now, once she's defeated, we hop right into the Dragon Master himself, Lance. Gyarados, this is a good place to set up. I'm not really scared of any of his moves he has. Hyper Beam obviously not doing that much. Gives us a little bit more time to set up. So +4 Psychic, not doing that much damage. Probably should just went for Body Slam, but I decided to set up because it goes for Hyper Beam again. Then we finish off with Body Slam. Body Slam, gonna be the move on the Dragonairs, and then I probably should have just went for it on the Aerodactyl, but I go for Psychic. It goes for Fly. Not really scared of that. We're pretty bulked up, so not really worried. Finished it off with Body Slam. Not going to dock points for that. Psychic would have KO'd it too. And then this really interesting thing happened here where I just got a series of critical hits on the Dragonite, and I was like, dude, I'm about to have to reset just because of that, because Lance does heal. But nevertheless, we do get past that. We are perfect through the Elite Four, 45s across the board, and we have made it to the last and final challenge of the run. The Elite Four, the champion. Honestly, look, we're at level 53. Honestly, I don't think Mew's gonna have any trouble getting through this. So I'm gonna heal up, restore my PP, and we're gonna come into this battle at level 53. Now, obviously, if I set up my badge boost, I'm going to lose them as soon as I level up. One thing I have noticed though, and I'm not 100% knowledgeable on all the mechanics in Generation 1, but it seems like, at least if I'm going based off of what the overlay says, then my whatever stat that I'm boosting, like my attack stat, it shouldn't be affected. It doesn't look like it ever goes down. So let's put this to the test here. Coming in, I'm going to go ahead and set up Swords Dance on the Sand Slash. It's going to go for Slash. That's really the only thing we don't want to see. We just don't want to see that. But I'm going to set up all the way to +6. We're still at above half HP. Going to Body Slam, take care of the Sand Slash. Body Slam on the Alakazam. We really just Body Slam pretty much everyone. We get a critical hit on the Exeggutor. Don't want to see that. But it goes for Barrage instead of Leech Seed, which is good. We do also paralyze it. Earthquake or Body Slam is just fine for the Magneton. And I thought maybe here I just needed to go ahead and go for Psychic. I probably still could have one-shot the Cloyster with Body Slam, despite it being as bulky as it is. I mean, that 241 defense stat is absolutely out of this world. Last but not certainly least, we have Flareon. We'll go for the Earthquake, and that will take care of the champion. We finished the game with Mew at level 55. Really, really good. Taking a look at everything that Mew had, we only lost points on Brock, getting a 25 out of 33 there. Not bad. Let's take a look at all of its bonus points. We've got 26 for coverage, -4 for weaknesses, +4 for resistances. Those will cancel each other out. +10 for finish level, +15 for base stats. That's a total of 51 bonus points. For the Psychic type, Mew finishes with a score of 564 out of 583 for a percentage of 96.74%. That's going to put us in the S tier. For Psychic types, not bad. So taking a look, that places Mew right behind Mewtwo, essentially. Not bad, right in the S tier. We don't have any other S tier Psychic types. They're all in the A tier. Alakazam, unfortunately, in the B tier. For Alakazam, man, it's just that's tough. But Alakazam, you know, having to go over the level cap because it doesn't have any moves. And man, they did him really dirty in Pokemon Yellow, because in Pokemon Red, it doesn't have that problem with Brock. We don't lose points on Brock there. Anyway, let's filter over all 151 for Mew. Mew's going to get 32 bonus points, so that will actually increase its score just slightly from 564 to 581. That'll give us a score of 99.66%. 581 out of 583, just barely missing the S+ tier. I mean, man, like, if we don't lose points on Brock, Mew gets an S+ tier finish. Up there with Mewtwo, would have been the only two S+ tier Pokemon. That's extremely hard to get. Honestly, I mean, already to get a 100, you literally have to not have any point deductions, and even the bonus points just didn't make up for the difference between Mewtwo and Mew. So that's what we're looking at. We have a great finish from Mew, still in the S tier. Looking at the tier list, it is at the top of the S tier. It dethrones Tauros for the second best Pokemon. However, Tauros is not a legendary, so where it's at is pretty good. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Next up on the list, we have Blastoise. That'll be a good one, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you then.